You ever wonder why you think the way that you think or that you act the way that you act? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to make a bold statement here. The way that you think and the way that you choose and the way that you act and react are fueled by your emotions. See, if we can heal the emotions, then we can heal the soul. And if we heal the soul, then we can completely transform into the likeness of Christ. And what that means is that His Spirit has more control and influence over you than anything else. Welcome to Spiritually Fit for the Kingdom. I'm Regina Cade. Here we are learning about our emotions and how they have an impact on our relationship with others, and more importantly, our relationship and walk with God. If that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell notification, because then you'll know the next time there's a new video post that just may bless your soul. So today we're talking about emotional memories. And when I think about the emotional part of us, it's a part of our soul. And it makes me think about that verse that comes out of 3 John 1 and 2, where it says, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. So right there is saying that soul prosperity is tied to our entire prosperity. It says that we be in good health, that we prosper and be in good health even as our soul prospers. So we know how sometimes we can just be in our feelings, right? So we know how the way we feel affects what we choose, what we do, what we say, what we desire, all those different things. But what we are feeling from one moment to the next has a direct link to our emotional memories. Emotional memories are stored within our body. They contribute to the survival mechanisms within our bodies. So, back in the day, of course, when there was a perceived threat from when we had to worry about being attacked by animals, lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my, when that was a problem back in the day, these were things that, will fuel the fight or flight. And today we call it freeze as well, responses within us. But today we don't have such a physical threat that we have to worry about. It's more of a physiological type of threat that has to do with our stress or the pressures of life. And so anytime the subconscious perceives anything of danger, then it's going to pull from these places within us to decide how it will respond. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that. So let's think about it. Every cell within our body has the ability to store information that can affect our mental and physical health. As it has been said, 90% of illness and disease is attributed to stress and toxic emotions. So our emotions have a lot to say about our well-being physically. But also we need to also consider how the effects of when we bury those emotions, when we don't want to face them, when we ignore them and try to suppress them, how they can spring back up and show back up in our behaviors and our choices and our reactions. These memories shape who we are all the way down to our very cellular core. So identity is stored in the cells of our body. Our emotions inscribe who we truly are on our cells. So what this means is, so if your identity is the character or personality of a person that is established by psychological identification. And so what I mean is that your identity is not formed by this outwardness, something out here, but it's formed based on how you perceive and how you respond to everything out there, how you respond to life, how you feel about life. That is what makes up our character. That's what makes up our personalities and what we choose. So there is evidence of emotional memories being stored within our cells. Some of you may have heard of the stories about how some organ transplants have happened and people have picked up the emotional memories, feelings, and thoughts of another person. For instance, there's a lady who, after her organ transplant, picked up the desire for wanting to ride motorcycles and drink beer and eat chicken nuggets, and later found out that her donor, who was a teenager, those were what he loved. Then we also have heard an account of a young girl who began to have these nightmares of a murder and ended up helping to solve her donor's murder. So these are evidence that memories are stored in our very cells. So how does this happen? This happens via HLAs. Okay, that's what it's called. That's the acronym for it. I'm not going to try to pronounce it because y'all are not going to drag me, okay? All right? So they're HLAs. So what HLAs are? HLAs are protein receptors that are on the surface of our cells. And what they do is they take in and store information within them. So what is it taking in and storing in? It's storing our very identity. Everything that we experience in our entire lives are written in our cells via these HLAs. So what information are the HLAs taking in? They're taking in emotional information that is received from the emotional molecules that are within your body. These molecules of emotions inform our cells about how we are responding to everything in life. Well, here's the revelation here. When we as believers are trying to serve God from a part of us that's unconformed, like literally a part within us that is unconformed, that has an antichrist agenda. It's a carnal self. It's our old nature that goes against God, that is carnal. It said the carnal mind cannot even conceive the things of God. It won't receive it. And so we have these parts within us that we are unaware that are at war with us and God. And so what that does is it makes it impossible for us to cross that threshold of transformation. What I'm saying here is that there is something deep down on the inside of you tied to the biological nature or sinful nature on the inside of you that keeps you from fully yielding and serving God. You are the sum total of your childhood experiences and what has happened to you in your adult life. And if you've given it a second thought, then it is permeating throughout your entire soul. Every thought has a corresponding emotion. To break through is to deal with the emotion. Emotional memories are the very records that our subconscious pull from in order to decide how it will respond to a perceived threat. When your subconscious picks up on a certain pattern and experiences that are similar to those in the past, it will kick in and determine how to react or respond to life. So if your trigger is, I feel lonely, it's just feeling this loneliness on the inside, you may think that you need to be in relationship with someone in order to feel valued. You may feel like you need a sexual connection with someone to feel desired, and it will drive you to those places because this will help protect you from feeling the painful emotion of loneliness. Or maybe your trigger may be rejection. I know this one very well. Maybe rejection is your trigger. And so your subconscious kicks in and say, hey, what I need to do is not be so open and vulnerable to people so that I don't get hurt. The good news is that God superimposes his very nature all the way down to the cellular level of who we are to transform us. He is a God that deals masterfully from eternity. So when God does something, he does it well. See, it makes me think about those who the Son sets free are free indeed. That's like a assurance. That's a confident statement, right? Because whatever he does from eternity affects our natural, and it's permanent. Therefore, when Jesus comes in and deals with our negative emotional memories, he will wash them away. He'll make us whiter than snow. And what he does is he'll clear them out, and he'll make a deposit within us so that negative emotional memory no longer has the same impact. Yeah, you may remember the event, but it no longer has the same impact on you that drives you to a response that's outside of God's will. So here's what you need to know. Your body has the ability within your cells to open and close. So your cells have the ability to open and close. You don't believe me? Look up insulin resistance. Here's what you need to know. So your ability to be able to yield and open up your heart to God and to receive from him will determine the ability that you are able to get healed. So when we open up and we let God in, then he can have his perfect work in us, his perfect work of love in us. Love is an emotion. He can have his perfect work of love in us to set the captives free. Then now we're left with the impact of our true identity, our new creation, us being able to shine through us and unto others. Now that's good. No, better yet, that's God. So, hey, if this message really impacted you in any type of way, leave me a comment down below. Let me know if this message has impacted you in any way. If you've really got a revelation for yourself about emotional memories and how it impacts you.